Today we are diving into one of the most controversial topics in the UK right now. With rising concerns around national security, violent crime and terrorism, could we make two major changes? Putting the British Army on our streets and arming all police officers. Now, before we start imagining tanks rolling down the M25 and all the coppers cutting around with M4s, let's just take a little step back. Is this a necessary evolution to protect the people of the UK? Or are we risking turning Britain into a surveillance state with a military edge? In this video, let's break down the pros and cons and what this could really mean. Let's start with the first question then. Arming all police officers within the UK. Right now, UK is one of the few countries where most police officers do not carry firearms. It's part of our national identity. Policing with consent, not force. But the world is changing. Knife crime is up, gang violence is a real threat, and let's not forget the threat of lone wolf terror attacks, where armed response times can mean a difference between life and death. Let's look at the positives then, arming all police officers within the UK. First of all, faster response to deadly threats. If every officer was armed, it would remove the delay in waiting for armed response units and seconds saving lives. Potential attackers may think twice knowing that police officers are carrying firearms. It could deter, could be a deterrent. Protecting the protectors. Police are putting their lives on the line every day. Possibly giving them another tool to defend themselves could just possibly help them. This is not just always about tactical, it could be moral. Let's flip this then. Let's look at the negatives. More guns on the street could mean more violent confrontations. If everyone's armed, possibly tensions could rise. This could have public trust issues. Our police are trusted largely because they don't like to use force. If we change that, you might lose the public. Then you've got the training burden, competency. Okay, it's not just a case of giving someone a weapon system. It's about maintaining that skill, that judgment, that discipline. It's a massive responsibility. You don't want skill fade setting in. And it takes a lot of judgment, split-second decision on whether to pull your weapon system out and whether to pull that trigger. Now, the heavier question. Should the British Army be put on our streets to either support or even replace the police? Especially during high threat periods. We've seen recently SAS and CTSFOs clearing buildings in Rochdale and other cities. Could we make that a more regular thing and have armed soldiers on our streets? Remember, this is just a question, just a thought. I'd love to get your comments in the comment section below. First of all then, let's look at the positives. Immediate reinforcement in emergency situations. During extreme events like terror attacks or mass unrest, protests, etc. that have been going on, the army could bolster overstretched police units fast. They bring the specialist capability, bring great communication, logistics, surveillance, reconnaissance, medical support. That could bolster and be even better than the civilian systems that we already have in place. Visual deterrent. Let's be honest, a soldier on the street sends a strong message to anyone thinking of causing chaos or doing any form of crime or thinking about hurting someone. Once again then, we need to flip this. We need to look at the possible negatives of this. Militarisation in a civil space. Britain is not a war zone, and nor do we want to turn it into one. Seeing soldiers on the street regularly could shift the whole vibe of our towns and cities and the way that the public thinks. Then you've got the blurred lines of authority. Who's in charge? Soldiers follow different rules than the police. They also don't know the law like the police do. The army is not trained to manage civilian situations. We can there to support, but we're there to sort of defend the country and basically do the stuff that people aren't willing to do on operations. Then you've got the historical drama. We've been here before. Look at Northern Ireland with the Troubles. Soldiers on the street can inflame tensions, not ease them. I feel like the public is pretty divided at the minute. Some may feel protected seeing a soldier on the street, others may feel invaded, even frightened. But I see a lot of comments calling for our army to be used domestically within the UK to protect its borders than overseas. So let's have a possible discussion points, keep it friendly, keep it clean in the comment section. Do you value liberty over security or security over liberty? Would a visible armed presence increase your sense of safety or reduce it? How do we preserve the unique identity of British policing while evolving to meet modern threats? And this is just more than logistical of whether it can happen, because it is doable. The military can easily deploy on the streets, but this is about our culture, your emotions, philosophical. Is it the right thing to do to arm all our police officers and possibly put the soldiers on the street to prevent all this night crime, to prevent all this unrest, to prevent terrorist attacks, to make the people feel safer, putting them on our borders? Would it be the right thing to do? That's what I want to know your thoughts on this in the comments section. We've got some possible compromises there. Option 1, increase armed policing units. Okay, not all officers, but boost the number of armed response officers that we have. Increase those numbers, give more police officer weapon systems, but not all of them. Possibly option 2, which sort of does happen behind the scenes, but you could increase this. Military support without the frontline patrols. Okay, use the army, the military behind the scenes. Use their comms, their med support, counter-terror coordination. Okay, wouldn't really work. It's, you know, it sort of happens anyway, but you got the other agencies. But when it comes to our borders, okay, bring the military in to do surveillance, reconnaissance, gather intelligence, without actually putting the soldiers on the street, just to help police support, because they are undermanned, they're understaffed. Our security agencies are pushed to the limits, so bring in soldiers to help them with that. Option 3, emergency only army deployment, which we've seen before. Op-temper, deploy under sort of Cobra level threats. Okay, it's only temporary, threats really high, we've had some sort of terrorist attacks, let's bring the army in just to bring peace and security to the people. I'd love to know your thoughts on this then, so please do comment below. Should we arm all police officers? And should we bring the military in? I think the way the country's going at the minute, I think we should be in the middle. I think we need to put more armed response officers on the streets, give them better training, give them more training, and don't make them feel like that if they pull the trigger, they're going to be found guilty, locked up and sent to prison. Bring the military in. Protect our borders. Protect our streets. Let's lower the knife crime. Let's prevent people of even thinking that they can perform some sort of terrorist act on our soil. I'd be very interested to know what your thoughts are on this, so please do comment below. Don't think putting just military on the streets all day, every day is the right thing to do. I don't think arming every police officer is the right thing to do, because sometimes it's just about talking to people, controlling the situation, calming someone down, instead of just pointing a weapon at them. I think you've got to find... There's a thin line and you've got to find the best balance. I think we need more armed response officers, possibly more military intervention, just to provide security. People are not happy at the minute. They don't feel safe in their own country, and that's what we need to do. It's not about bringing on violence to anyone. It's just about making people feel safer. And sometimes that can be with your mouth. So that's why firearms are not always the option. Sometimes you just need to converse with someone, talk with someone, find out what the issue is. How can you help them? Yes, the military is there to protect its borders. Yes, we can use the assets, the skills, the experience they bring, but it's not always the right option. But yeah, please do comment below what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you soon.